I'm just kind of ready for the next chapter and a new challenge in my life. But I think the reason I decided to announce it when I did was just to have that closure.
The world of women's basketball is in shock when Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexie Hull shocked fans with a huge announcement just seconds ago. Standing together, the three made a daring new move that nobody had anticipated, changing the league's future, thrilling fans, and surprising even insiders. It is more than just news. It is a game changer, ranging from decisions that change careers to strong declarations of solidarity. What did they say that has everyone talking? This announcement is more significant than anyone anticipated, so stay tuned. A revolutionary step in the WNBA. A surprising partnership between three of the WNBA's most well-known personalities rocked the league on July 8th, 2025. The 2024 top overall pick, Caitlin Clark, whose debut season rekindled interest in women's basketball across the country, teamed up with emerging talent Lexie Hull of the Indiana Fever and veteran Sophie Cunningham of the Phoenix Mercury. The three of them met for more than a friendly conversation. Behind the scenes at the Indiana Fever training facility, what sources are describing as a planned disclosure took place, igniting urgent discussions in boardrooms and locker rooms. These three came together for reasons other than personal desire, despite coming from different teams and being at quite different points in their careers. Clark offers a surge of new fan enthusiasm along with unrivaled star power. Cunningham provides the perseverance, knowledge, and earned respect of an experienced veteran. Even though she is just starting out, Hull represents the league's potential for the future. Their combined effects suggest something more significant, such as increased player rights demands, enhanced compensation plans, better working conditions, or even a player initiative. The trio's actions seem to indicate a desire for equity and opportunity, as well as a need to change the WNBA's perception of its players' worth in terms of long-term investment and marketing. They meet at a time when discussions about CBA negotiations, television rights, and league expansion are intensifying. These three are probably taking action now because they think their combined influence can finally make a difference that will benefit all parties involved, past, present, and future. The players' influence as brand ambassadors and social media influence adds urgency to this time, advocates, and more recently, as potential change agents for policy. In addition to attracting fans, Caitlin Clark's sold-out arenas and unprecedented TV ratings have brought in corporate funding and media attention that previously eluded the league. Players' long-standing concerns about financial viability are echoed by Cunningham's years of expertise managing off-season contracts abroad. When purpose and star power collide, anticipation for the 2025 WNBA season is growing, but it goes beyond standings and scores. A different kind of game-changing momentum is subtly accumulating off the court. A calculated meeting between Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexie Hull on July 8th at the Indiana Fever training facility suggested something much more significant than a buzzer-beater victory. According to people close to the league, this triumvirate is getting ready to make a daring move that will address the underlying causes of inequality in women's professional basketball. Player salaries are a long-standing issue at the core of their cause. Even elite athletes frequently receive a small portion of the revenue generated by their talent for the WNBA, despite the league's increasing popularity and media attention. That reality changed in 2024 with Clark's arrival. Her presence has resulted in record-breaking merchandise sales, crowded arenas, and TV ratings that have surpassed 1 million viewers. To put it plainly, Caitlin Clark has emerged as the WNBA's main source of revenue. However, she continues to function under a limited pay cap that devalues her impact, much like her counterparts. Clark's enormous social media fan base and commercial reach are comparable to, and occasionally surpass, those of male sportsmen in much larger leagues. Her voice is strong just because of that. Additionally, if their movement is successful, it may serve as a model for women's sports in the future. The timing is what amplifies the effect of this. Given the WNBA's record-breaking increases in money and viewership, it is time to overhaul the system for future generations. How, therefore, would this silent campaign change the rules for all WNBA players? This is going to change everything, so stay tuned. The movement's purpose. A more profound query emerges as attention is drawn to Caitlin Clark's every action. How will she advance the game for everyone with this uncommon degree of influence? Not only did her debut season light up highlight reels, but it completely changed the WNBA's operations. However, according to insiders, Clark is increasingly looking beyond endorsements and personal accomplishments. Her discussions with Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull behind the scenes in Indiana seem to be setting the stage for something far more significant than individual accomplishment. Few women's basketball players have ever had the kind of influence Clark does does because of her prominence on the court and in the media. She also appears to realize that authority entails accountability. The problems, low pay, difficult travel circumstances, and a lack of long-term growth support are not new. However, it appears that Clark views her accomplishment as a means, not a final end, given her involvement in what may be a collaborative player-led initiative. In contrast, Sophie Cunningham offers the perspective and grit of someone who has experienced every aspect of the WNBA. The Phoenix Mercury veteran has witnessed personally how the present system compels players to choose between passion and survival, having struggled through tight paychecks and spent off seasons abroad simply to make ends meet. Despite playing under antiquated regulations and receiving little publicity, she contributed to the league's current increase in prominence. Her years of union advocacy and international experience make her a reliable voice advocating for change that is effective in reality rather than simply theory. Cunningham's insight and Clark's momentum combined to produce an uncommon alignment. With Lexie Hull standing in for the league's future, the three of them working together might be just what the WNBA needs to finally transform growing attention into long-lasting change. What made this odd trio the WNBA's best chance for long-term change? See more truth by continuing to watch. The Intergenerational Bridge. This developing movement, Sophie Cunningham's voice bears the burden of season after season of experience, spent straining the boundaries of a system that frequently provided too little in return. Not only was she a seasoned player who was traded to the Indiana Fever, but she also contributed to the WNBA's transformation from an underappreciated sport to one that made headlines. Her position next to Caitlin Clark is intentional, not merely symbolic. Together, the potential implications of this marriage are already being noted by analysts. Cunningham's readiness to collaborate with up-and-coming talent like Clark and Lexie Hull portends something significant. A generational bridge inside a league in dire need of one. Hull, a Stanford standout and 6th overall pick in the 2022 WNBA draft, is another option. Though she is still in her formative years, she is wise enough to recognize the flaws in the system. Hull is more than just a gifted athlete. She represents change. Her choices over whether to go for security abroad, take advantage of off-season possibilities, or agitate for change domestically are indicative of the silent struggles that many young WNBA players face. Her participation in this expanding project also raises the possibility that those silent worries are finally being given a more unified and loud voice. How therefore does their next step expose the issues that innumerable WNBA players are facing in silence? Watch this space to discover out. Many journeys, one voice, a unified front for long-term transformation. It is not just the names involved that make this event so special. It is the coherence and timing throughout the many phases of the career path. Lexie Hull, Sophie Cunningham, and Caitlin Clark are more than just gifted athletes. They represent a variety of the WNBA rising future, senior leadership, and rookie potential. The pattern is evident in everything from NBA lockouts to the USWNT equal pay dispute. Reform is fueled by solidarity, and now that the WNBA is seeing unprecedented growth in media attention, merchandise sales, and viewership, it could be time for players to reconsider their worth. Players continue to complain about salary caps and a lack of long-term stability, despite the fact that the current collective bargaining agreement provides certain protections and benefits. This global disparity only makes the pressure on WNBA leadership to change stronger, as international leagues in Europe and Asia continue to give more lucrative contracts. Given the game's explosive growth and rising economic worth, there may be a greater opportunity than ever for substantive structural change. And how could foreign leagues covertly pay more than the WNBA? Watch closely to find out what happens next. Time, power, and the stakes for the future. Fans are already posing the major questions as anticipation for the upcoming WNBA season grows. Is this team capable of winning? Is the Indiana Fever going to be the team to beat this year? However, something much more revolutionary is developing underneath the commotion surrounding rosters and rivalries. The recent joint announcement by Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexie Hull could not have come at a more important time. It coincides with significant changes in women's basketball, expansion negotiations, long-term television agreements, and important choices on the league's future course. This is more than simply a season for the players. This is a pivotal moment. Athlete-led activism has never had a better chance as the spotlight is more intense than ever. This new age is similar to successful initiatives in other sports, where athletes have pushed for better working conditions, more equitable compensation, and a say in decision-making. The fact that contemporary musicians now manage their own message is what distinguishes this moment. They now have direct access to millions of admirers and the ability to influence public opinion thanks to social media. Clark has the capacity to ignite such discussion on a large scale, as his internet fan base rivals that of the world's best sportsmen. However, unity is the key to true change, not just one voice. And this partnership is a clear indication of that. Hull and Cunningham lend further legitimacy by symbolizing the hardships of the past and the new generation that will inherit whatever comes out of this moment. The players are in a position to influence more than simply games because of the league's explosive growth, growing viewership, sold-out arenas, and resurgence of corporate interest. They are contributing to the creation of the regulations that will govern women's professional basketball for many years to come. Every choice taken today could have an impact on future generations who are still waiting for their chance. A pivotal moment in the game and in general. Curiosity now revolves around what precisely Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexie Hull are trying to change and how far their vision actually extends after they came forth together. Their impact on women's professional basketball today is not only remarkable, but unparalleled. Additionally, their collaboration comes at a pivotal moment for the WNBA in July 2025. Despite its rapid rise in popularity, the league is still struggling with long-standing structural problems that have not been fixed in decades. These three athletes appear to be part of a movement that could address pressing issues that WNBA players have often brought up. These are the pillars of women's sports' long-term viability. The players themselves envision a larger picture, one in which all athletes, not just the stars, can establish a secure future in the league they love, while spectators concentrate on game statistics and playoff aspirations. Better training facilities, better healthcare, and planned career transitions for life beyond basketball are all part of that. Another complexity is added by international play. The off-seasons of many WNBA players are spent abroad, where support networks are stronger and salaries are higher. The discussion regarding what is actually feasible for women's basketball back home has expanded as a result of their exposure to various league formats, which range from Europe to Asia. Because of this global perspective, Clark's generation is not satisfied with tradition. They desire change. Additionally, the players no longer need to wait for a press conference or news source to convey their tale because of the state of the media nowadays. They can highlight problems, mobilize public support, and apply pressure where it matters thanks to social media. However, it takes more than just retweets to transform attention into tangible progress. Please share your ideas in the comments section. Remember to subscribe, like, and share.